How's everybody doing? We're going to prepare for the next meeting. The next meeting is Administration and Finance Committee meeting, you guys.
Thank you, darling.
And Madam Manager, you can leave if you want to.
We got rid of all of this. I don't know what you're giving us this for. We got rid of all of this. We got rid of all of this.
All right, let's bring this over. The Administration and Finance Committee meeting for Tuesday, September 14, 2021 is called to order at 8:35 p.m. We've already had solemn meditation and Pledge of Allegiance. Madam Chairman, Madam Clerk, may I please have a roll call?
Maybe soon, I'll move over here, don't worry. Okay. Chair Nickerson,
Here.
Vice Chair Martin,
Here.
Member Urbom,
Present.
Member Perella, Member Lightfoot Ward,
Here.
also present for the record, Janice Jacoby, Village Clerk, and Interim Village Attorney, Joseph Geller. You have a quorum.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. I appreciate that. Next, I want to ask for approval of the agenda. You guys, we have one agenda item, and this will take like 1 minute. And so, do I have approval of the agenda? Motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Motion moved by Councilperson Lightfoot Ward, second by Vice Mayor Urbom. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Hearing none. Next is acknowledgement of visitors. We have none. Moving on to good and welfare. If anybody right now wants to come up and talk about anything as far as the agenda itself, which is one agenda item, the RFQ attorney distribution, now you can come up and say so. Say your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes. Hearing none. Moving on to agenda item G1. You guys, when we sent out the only reason why this is here is because it has to be. When we did the RFQ for the attorney, there were certain dates, like there was the date that it opened up, the date that it closed, the last date and time where they could drop off their RFQ. And then this date was the next date, which was the distribution of the RFQ. If you got it before, that's no problem. But as of this date, on the record, everybody should have the attorney RFQs. That's why it's on there. So everybody should have as of this date, because when we get to the end, then nobody can come up and say, well, I didn't get it, because officially this is the date.
Not gonna see it.
Okay?
Not gonna see it.
Chair, can I roll call it just to get the yes?
Yes, we can do that. I'll do the motion. Give me a second, though. No, we're good, you guys. That being said, we will choose the permanent attorney. We got two, everybody got two options. We got two options in for the RFQ. We got Greenspoon Martyr, and we have GJB, which is Genovese, Job Love, and Batista. At the full council meeting, in a couple of weeks, the full council meeting, we will choose the attorney at the full council meeting. Hopefully, that we'll have, a representative from both firms, yeah, I was gonna say organizations. Both firms here at the full council meeting will choose then. Between now, very important, between now, right now, and the full council meeting, you cannot reach out to speak to any one of these attorneys about this RFQ.
That's right.
Now, you can talk to them about other items. You cannot talk to them about anything about this RFQ.
That's right.
No questions on the RFQ. All that has to be saved for the regular council meeting when they're here. When they're here, any questions, any comments, anything that you have, you can ask them that night at the regular council meeting when we choose. Between now and then, you cannot talk to them about this RFQ at all. Okay?
Mayor.
Yes, Councilperson Lightfoot.
Including receiving phone calls.
Including receiving phone, yes, you cannot talk to them. They shouldn't be talking to you. You can't talk to them about anything with the RFQ. Now, it could be about septic to sewer, it could be whatever. But anything about the RFQ, you can't talk to them, you guys. No questions, no comments, no questions about nothing about that, okay? Can't do that. If you do see the RFQ, when you go through the RFQs, if you have any questions, write them down. Bring them the night of the full regular council meeting, all right? Because there's no reason to even reach out to the clerk or the manager. They're not part of those firms. They're not going to be able to answer those questions for you. All right, so just write those questions down, write your comments down, bring them to the full council meeting. With that being said, we're going to do a roll call to just say that everybody has, yes, officially received the RFQ from the two firms. Do I have a motion for RFQ 2021-01 that for distribution, acknowledgement of distribution?
You do.
Motion made by Councilperson Lightfoot Ward. Do I have a second for acknowledgement of distribution?
Second.
Second by Councilperson Martin. Madam Clerk, may I please have a roll call, please?
Member Lightfoot Ward.
Yes.
Member Louis Perella.
Yes.
Member Erbaum.
Yes.
Vice Chair Martin.
Yes.
And Chair Nickerson.
Yes. That being said, are there any other questions or comments about this, you guys? Okay. All right.
Girls, no ladies.
Oh, well, I meant guys in the general term. If you have any questions or comments about the attorney RFQ process? No. Okay, well, yeah, no, that's good and well, but I got you. You're coming next. All right. Yeah, when I say guys, I mean in general terms. Chairmen and chairwomen, chairpersons, any other questions or comments? We're good? All right, thank you very much. Moving on, you guys, to good and welfare. Right now, anybody can come and talk about anything at all. Doesn't have to be anything just on this. This is a second good and welfare, so doesn't have to be just something that's to this agenda itself. So if you have anything to come up and talk about anything at all, come up to the microphone, say your name and address for the record, and the floor is yours.
Ladies, gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Paul March, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council people. Is that correct?
That's right.
All right, I try. I reside at 318 Northeast 90 Street. My problem goes back to when all of us here were probably very young. It's called pre-Hurricane Andrew. Is that long enough for all of us? I've been in the city for roughly 30, 31 years. I have a neighbor that is not here to defend themselves, but I can speak for myself. Their trees have been a nuisance. I've been advised by the whole world that I can cut the trees in my property. Sounds good, sounds sweet. The trees are so tall that I have to regularly blow my roof off and rake. How many people here have to rake their flat roof? I have a new addition to my house that, based off of records in El Portal, was started in 2010 with $11,600, $11,800 in a septic tank and a drain field. There's a reason for this boring story. It has escalated, and we have no argument, we have no conversation with the neighbors. My drain field is inhabited by roots from their tree. I've been advised I can cut the roots. Recently in Dade County, somebody here I'm sure read about it, you're not allowed to kill your neighbor's tree. Why? I don't know. It's funny people. I don't know. So this tree is huge. Not one tree, there's 5 trees. If you look back in the records in El Portal, you will see that I had to replace my weatherhead after Hurricane Andrew, and again after that because of the tree falling. Fast forwarding from there, bring us to 2010. The drain field's installed. I have to have my septic tank pumped probably about 2-3 times a year, without exaggeration, for that reason. The last hurricane dropped my fence from their tree. I put it up with my own money, not the whole fence. The fence is probably the most atrocious fence in the neighborhood, which I'm surprised code enforcement has not visited me yet. It's a wood fence. It looks terrible. I have every intention of replacing it. Who in their right mind would replace a fence that's constantly being damaged by the neighbor's trees? I have a recent price to to cut the tree over my house. It's $2,800. Mind you, they will not allow access in their yard. They're not cooperative at all. The access in the side of my house is roughly 4.5 feet. It has to be all done by hand, rope, and ladders. Like I've done in the past, the same exact intrusion does me no good. Because the trees go up 100 feet, it just helps temporarily. As all of us know, every 5 years, the insurance company comes and re-inspects your home to make sure everything is copacetic. Right now, they're going to come out probably by the end of this week, and they're going to tell me the obvious. You have to cut the trees from over the house. This, I don't think, is just a neighbor problem. I am not above and beyond hiring an attorney. I've avoided that angle. Nobody wants to have anybody as a neighbor that sues them. This is only for the purpose of this conversation. Recently, my son had a birthday, and it reminded me how old I am. My son, which is not my oldest child, turned 33, and I said to myself, wow, I have been in business that long, and I am not in any Dade County record ever suing anybody. People don't sue me, I don't sue people. I think the city could get involved in this to keep it copacetic. Getting back to my fence and my boring story with my child being so old and myself being so old, it is terrible when you live this way. I have an ongoing joke with some people in the city over here that my house has never got robbed, not because I have bars in my windows. It's because if somebody looks in my backyard or my house, they're going to say, he is poorer than me. What does he have for me to steal? Just by my fence only. I no longer have grass because of the trees. The side of my house is covered in mold because there's no sunlight. So telling me to cut the trees sounds really good, but it goes up 100 feet or more. And the hugest tree that causes the most problem, it's 2 trees intertwined in one that has to be over 40 years old, maybe longer. What can we do to help me in this situation? Remember, septic tank, mold, fence, ugliest house. And by El Portal records, you will see that I probably have into the house a good $150,000 in the past 20 years. I have impact windows. I have an addition that cost $85,000, so I am not a slacker. I have a contract signed with the neighbors to remove the tree. I paid my share. They changed their mind. What are we going to do to go forward? More than one code enforcement person has assisted me and stopped. The last mayor agreed to go forward. That's in record here also. I came to a meeting like this, and she changed her mind. Nothing has come from that one at all. I would safely say that a lot of people in this room have probably lived here close to how long I have. And my investment in my house consists of lots more things than I choose to even mention to bore everybody because it's so late. Just like everybody here went to work, I did too. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, go ahead,
3
Councilperson
minutes is
LaFleur.
up. You want to give him 3 more?
Excuse me?
The 3 minutes is up. You want to give him 3 more?
Yes, yes, please. No
I'm
problem.
pretty much done. I thank you for your time.
Yeah, Attorney Geller wanted to say something real quick. Can I say something?
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, Chairman, whichever, Chairperson.
It's okay.
Sir, I'm not sure that there is nothing the village can do. It may very well be the case that some of what you have described violates our codes. Our code enforcement officer has left for the evening after having been here quite a long time, but it may be the case that some of what you have described violates one code or another that the village maintains, and it is my belief that there are also some nuisance provisions, not only in our code, as you say, you have the option of private counsel, and we understand and recognize that you have the option, you know you have the option. To this point, that's not the route you've chosen to take, but there may be other nuisance provisions that are in the village code. I can't conduct a thorough examination of it sitting here, but I would say to you that I know you came in during the meeting. I'm not sure you were here when the code enforcement officer was actually speaking.
No, I wasn't.
There is a new, very energetic,
There's a new sheriff in town.
yes, sir.
Good to hear.
And I'm certainly prepared to assist our manager and our code enforcement officer in investigating. I specifically make no promise to you because, as we told the last people, this is not the place where that kind of thing gets done. And our village council may be 100% sympathetic to you. I'm not saying they are, but they very well may be.
I hope so. I pray so.
You're very measured and thoughtful and careful presentation of facts, but it's an administrative process while making no promise to you other than this.
Respectfully.
I can say to you that please contact the manager or the code enforcement officer, probably if you care to as soon as tomorrow. I don't know, the manager, as we heard earlier, had some losses in her family. Perhaps the manager will not be in tomorrow. I don't know.
Sorry to hear that.
But the resources of the village are available to investigate the matter, and it may, not is, but may well be the case that there is some kind of administrative relief available to you, either through the process of code enforcement or of nuisance abatement through the village. And I'm certainly happy to assist our administration in reviewing that and determining if there is something that can be done. Also, because while it adversely affects you and that's concerning, as you point out at the very beginning, it may also be the case that it may affect other residents of the village if one of those bigger hurricanes like we had back in the Andrew day, even if it kind of missed us up here, made a left turn at the last second. But it is certainly possible that there are other villagers who were impacted by what you've described. And I can tell you that it is absolutely, definitely the case that the manager, code enforcement, and I, at the administrative level, will review it and let you know whether or not there is something the village can do, or if you need to take that private counsel option.
I thank you for your preemptive attention to this, and for those people, ladies, gentlemen, that hopefully find a soft part in their heart. I have a very young mother. She's only 97. I am her last born child. She lives with me most of the time, and the room on the side of the house that I completely redid for her, where the trees are at, she doesn't sleep there anymore. She sleeps on the other side of the house for fear of the tree falling. Not trying to be funny, and yes, I'm pulling at your ear, and
We hear you.
got you.
Trying not to interrupt, but just telling you, we hear that
And last-
loud and clear, Mr. Wong.
And last but not least, I mentioned after this, I will promise I will stop, Madame. I promise. I mentioned this before. I find this a little bit amusing. I have to find humor in life. Amusing, the fact that that house next to me, and I try to never speak ill of anybody, just factually. When is somebody going to notice that the house needs a paint job? How are they able to have their own hedge grow over the sidewalk? How are they able to have old, rotten railroad ties for so many years on public passageway? How are they able to do this? I don't know.
I have a quick question for you.
Please,
So I don't mean to throw mud on the wall. I'm just saying, notice the house. It needs to be taken care of, and the trees are part of the problem. If you want trees over your own home, that is up to you legally. They probably don't have insurance in their home. I'm not being rude, because insurance will not insure your home if you have trees over your home. So within the next week, I guess I'll be calling somebody here with the paper from the insurance company to prove I have to pay for an inspection and cut the trees again to get insurance on my home.
please
Sir.
be sure that you
Vice-
speak to the manager or the code enforcement officer to initiate any review.
Respectfully.
Be sure to do that.
And
you
last but not
restate your
least,
address for me,
Vice
please?
Chairperson, yes.
my home is paid for. I don't have to have insurance, but because of the trees, I have to have insurance. If I wanted to be a little bit slow mentally, I could save some money, but because of the trees, I have extensive insurance in my home because it's been damaged before. On that note, I say
you-
thank all of you for listening to me.
Vi-
One question.
Sorry
Vice
for
Chair-
keeping
Vice
all
Chair
of you-
Martin, Vice Chair Martin does
One
have a
question.
question.
Just restate your address for me, please.
Excuse me?
318, your address is 318 Northeast 90th Street?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's all.
I thank all of you for allowing me to bore you at the end of the day.
May I ask a follow-up? Which side is the house you're talking about, of your property?
That is
What
easy,
east side?
that is easy to answer. All of my damage, all of my leaves, everything takes place on the east side. He's the only one with trees. I only have coconut trees.
That address would be
I am not sure.
east of 318.
Directly adjacent to me. I think it might be 338. Don't hold me to it, please. His name is, okay, I've only been there 30-odd years. I don't remember his name. We just call him Sandy. I'm not even sure if that's his real name. I think it's Sandy Snyder. I'm not sure. I apologize for sounding him throwing mud at somebody else. I'm just pointing out the obvious. When is somebody going to pay attention to the, lack of a better choice of words, the abandoned house next to mine? And we don't argue and we don't fight, by the way. I'm a very quiet person. I work all day long.
Thank
I
you.
am not home. I don't fight. I don't call police or nothing. I avoid conflict. My mother, I think, did a good job with me. Thank all of you so much. Have a blessed night.
Thank you. I think Vice Mayor Urban wants to say something. Before we go there, let me just say this. It's good, Attorney Gill, that you're saying that with getting in touch with the manager and the code enforcement officer. I was actually trying to get also on the same page, myself, the manager, the code enforcement officer, to go to the home, because what was happening was Mr. Marsh reached out to me to go to his home, but I didn't want to go by myself, because then what starts to happen is if I go out there and I see it, then I come back and tell the manager, hey, this is what's happening, this is what I saw, but she can't really get the whole gist of it. So then she would have to go out there, and then she would come back, and she would tell the code enforcement officer, and she had to go out there and see it for herself. So I was trying to get it to where all three of us can go out there at the same time, and then we could be like, oh, this is this is that, because we have the code enforcement officer that knows all the codes, we have the manager that knows what her part is, and then myself as the mayor. So then we can say, okay, our next step is this. Now, if we can still get the, and I'm still trying to do it, as he said, the village manager has had a couple of deaths in the past couple of weeks. And just our schedules, we weren't able to get over there. Also, a lot of time when Mr. Marsh was saying that he was available would be on the weekends, where the code enforcement officer and manager are not available on the weekends. And so that's kind of like where we were. Yeah. So it's kind of like how we were with.
Don't do that, that doesn't look good.
Yeah, it's
That doesn't look good, don't do that, don't do that.
So that's kind of like.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we were when it came to that. So the next thing after we went to your house would be, we would have to come to Attorney Geller anyway. So it's good that he's involved already, and we'll facilitate that, we'll get that done. And with that being said, Vice Mayor Urban.
Just let me know the day, and I guess I'll take
I got you.
It's just hard to get up.
Yeah, I know. We don't want you to have to miss work, we're trying to work around your schedule. I understand. I got you. I know, I got you. Vice Mayor.
So I actually have a comment for the council. So Mr. March's presence here tonight is actually an incredibly good sign. I'm excited to see you and definitely appreciate you feeling comfortable to once again come in and state the problem. I know I spoke with you, it's been almost 2 years ago now, right, about this exact same problem. And you had even informed me that one of the solutions offered was that you bury corrugated metal barriers like they do when they reinforce highways when they're building them to prevent the roots from coming across. And I agree with you that that's fairly, that can't be the solution, right? And so I just want to let the council know that the people we saw here earlier, and then with Mr. March being here tonight, to me this is very encouraging that residents once again feel comfortable to come in and bring their cases to the council, feeling that the council will listen to them. And so I just want the council to not take that lightly, that the previous administration cleared this house out and nobody ever came in and said anything. And now we have people coming in again, feeling comfortable that the council will listen. This is a very positive sign for the future of El Portal. And so thank you for entrusting us again to listen to what you have to say. And I think that we have a better step forward than maybe we ever have on this specific issue for you, so.
Question is, does that mean my secret is safe over here?
You know what, you know what?
It goes all the place, the previous council, it stays right here as a secret.
Right here is
No,
the secret.
no.
Thank,
Stays right here.
as good as the camera. Thank,
Yes,
thank
you're on the
you.
permanent record now. You're on the
Thank you
permanent
very much,
record
Mr. Marsh. We appreciate it. We'll be in
Yeah.
touch. We'll be
So,
in touch. Thank you very much.
Good to see you.
Thank you. Take care. Have a good night.
And a very nice hat, Mr. Martin.
Yeah, I think so
Very
too.
nice hat. Thank you, sir.
A fedora.
My oldest daughter got it for me a long time ago. I thought it was obnoxious and never wore it.
There you go.
Fedora.
There you go. You guys
Call
take
it
care.
Fedora.
Be in touch with you tomorrow.
Yes.
Thank all of you so much. Have a blessed night.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Is there anybody else for good and welfare? I am seeing none. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Adjourn, please.
Motion to adjourn by Councilperson Lightfoot Ward. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Martin. Before I adjourn, any further discussion? We good? All right. The Administration and Finance Committee meeting is adjourned for Tuesday, September 14, 2021, is adjourned at, wow, 9:01 PM.